Good Thursday morning to you. It is October the 14th, 2021. I hope you're safe and well and blessed this morning and ready to be a witness for Christ. I want to read a passage of Scripture. This is from the NIV today. It is John chapter 15, beginning with verse 9. As the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. If you obey my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than he lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will last. Then the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. This is my command: love each other. This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. How would you define the word friend? Well, there was a newspaper in England that was giving out an award for the best definition of friend. And there were thousands and thousands of answers. Among them was one who multiplies joy, divides grief, and whose honesty is inviolable. Another one was a watch that beats true for all time and never runs down. But the winning definition was this: a friend is the one who comes in when the whole world has gone out. One of the greatest joys that we have in life is friendships. And Scripture has several stories about friendship, several examples: Moses and Jethro, David and Jonathan, Elijah and Elisha, Paul and Timothy. There's several. The thing about friendship is that it's conditional. You wouldn't have someone as a friend that treats you bad. Now, in this particular passage, Jesus calls his disciples friends. They were called friends before they were called Christians. They were first called Christians at Antioch, if you remember, in Paul's journeys, after Jesus was already gone. But the friendship is optional. And it's conditional on obedience, is what it says. Jesus says, if you obey my commands, you're my friend. There is no way to be a friend of Christ apart from knowing what he says. And you have to obey what Jesus says. Now, here's what his command was: love each other as I have loved you. Now think about that. Jesus laid down his life for us. Thus he says no one has more love than this, than he laid down his life for his friends. Love one another. And it isn't the easiest thing to do sometimes. We have to get connected. There was a boy that was sent to the corner store by his mother to buy a loaf of bread, and he was gone a whole lot longer than he should have been. And when he finally got home, his mom says, "Where you been?" "I've been worried sick about you." He said, "Well," excuse me, he said, "there was a little boy with a broken bicycle, and he was crying. And so I stopped to help him." And his mother said, "Well, I didn't know you knew anything about fixing bikes." He said, "Well, I don't. I just stayed there and cried with him." He was connected. And it amazes me to go to church, small churches, 30, 40, 50 people, and they don't know each other. They're not connected. You see, the highest purpose of believers is to go and bear fruit. And if there's any disunity within the body of believers, then the message is tainted and people won't hear and they won't believe. We need to take the command a little further. In verse 12 it says, my command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Lay down your life. Be willing to lay down your life for your friends. My desire for you is to love each other. Jesus laid down his very life for others, or for us, and we are called to do the same. It is impossible to retain a sense of pardoning grace without continuing in obedient grace. The chances are we will not be called to lay down our life for a friend, but there are other ways to practice sacrificial love. Things like listening and helping and encouraging and giving, and sometimes it's just a matter of being there. If we are going to bear fruit in this life, we need each other to help us bear life. Jesus' friendship means he's always there working in us and through us, helping us to love each other. Jesus wants you to be his friend. Are you? We show our friendship by obeying him and loving each other. And in return, he is our best friend. John, the Apostle John, the story is that near the end of his life, where he was so old, he couldn't walk, and the only thing, he had to be carried to the synagogue whenever his disciples would gather around him, and he would teach. But the only thing that he would teach is he would say, love each other. And so finally one day one of his students asked, why is that, teacher, rabbi, that the only thing you tell us is to love each other? And John's reply was, if you do that, it's enough. Love one another as Christ has loved you. I'm Pastor Mark, and I love you guys. Be safe, be well, be blessed, be strong. Go do something for Jesus, and I'll see you tomorrow.